Hello, welcome to my channel, all my millions of fans. Today I'm going to give you some advice on practicing, like some of the things that I run through a lot of times. And let's get started. See, what I like to do, generally, when I'm going to practice, I pick a chord, like I keep in mind, because you don't have time to practice all day long. You know, most people don't. I have more time than most. But I like to break down and focus on certain things. Like sometimes I'll run through a cycle of fours, and play my chord inversions. Like if you start with C, then B flat, that's one way. You just go around a circle of fifths. But what I'm getting at today is what I generally do a lot of times, like especially when I was working night shift, is I'll get home and I just would pick a certain key or a chord, and generally two chords, and I'll practice playing them. And I like to use spread triads. Like I'm going to do B flat major today because I did G minor yesterday. So with the B flat major, this is your shape, your arpeggio for a seventh. But I like to do the spread triads. So you got your roots, you got your fifth. That's your B flat on the E string, 6th fret, and your 8th fret on the 2nd string is your F. Then you got your D on your G string, which is your 7th fret. And that's your that's your root position. Your first inversion comes up here. I like to use my third finger on the D on the E string, first finger on the 8th fret of the D. That's your B flat, your root note. And then I'll use my pinky on the 10th fret of my G string, which is an F. That's your first inversion. It's still a B flat. This is your root again. This is your first inversion. Same notes, different order. And then you got one more. You come up to the F. Then that's on your 13th fret on your E. I use my second finger. On your D string, you're going to play a 12th fret, which is your D. And then the 15th fret with your pinky. On the 4th string, that's your B flat, your root note. So you're playing all the notes of the chord, different order, like that. And I'll cycle through that for my practice when I start off. Get used to the shapes, and they come after time. And the thing is, when you get these shapes down, they're always the same. No matter what if chords you move to, they just change order, It will be the same shapes. I like to get them down. I also play them together like this. Wait. Now some of y'all, if you're not used to these shapes, it's going to take you time to get them down, but they're not as difficult as you imagine, especially if you got your hand positions right. You get used to that flow. Your fingers just go, and you just go between them like that. And you want to keep your hand relaxed. You don't want to be pushing down real hard or gripping. If you have any kind of pain, stop playing, because it will hurt you. You want to be relaxed, and you should be able to press down really easy, That's why I like lower action, because you don't have to press down real hard. You just cycle it. So once you get one down, and generally what I like to do is I like to use 2 chords, so I can go back and forth between them. So if you think about this, the cycle of 4s, it goes C to F to B flat to E flat. So I'll pick a chord on the next one off the line. Since I'm playing B flat, I'll go to E flat because they sound good together. So I'll cycle it like this. Shit, my bad. Play through that. Well, E flat's right here. You can go right into it. Shit. One more time. Then I go down here. Or you can go up here, but you run out of space. You still got room, but it's a little harder to hit. But if I can hit it, I'll play through all of them. That's your E flat. With the shapes are the same, just starting on a different note. The notes of the E flat. As you can see, this inversion, like this is your major shape. It's the same as the root shape of the B flat. And then that second shape, it's the same shape. With you're just starting on the G of the E flat. So same order of the patterns. And then I'll play back and forth between them. This is B flat. Now I'm going to go to E flat. I'll go back to B flat, wherever its closest position is. Back to E flat. You got to get your shapes down so you can do this. So you can just cycle to the next note, the closest position of the next chord. B flat, E flat now. Shit. Back to B flat. You just cycle through them. And another thing you can do is practice going up and going into the next one. It's your B flat, so backwards. So I'll B flat. This is just, like I said, some of the things I like to run through. And I'll get those shapes down. And then what I like to do is put a beat on. Whatever kind of beat you got. Go with straight beat. I had a guy point out today that for $100 you can get a Zoom multi effects, which will give you effects, and it has beats on it. So anybody interested in that? Cause I got expensive. Like I got the HX Stomp, and it's like $600. And I'm not rich. I only got it because I did installments through Z Sound. You know, I can't afford that kind of equipment either. But I was looking at the Zoom before I bought that, and I figured I'd mention that in my videos for if people can't spend that kind of money, they can look at that Zoom pedal because it's got some drums on it. He said so. But anyways, I put a beat on. Just a basic beat. That's B flat. I'll go to E flat. Back to B flat. See how it already sounds like music. You just get used to the shapes and going back and forth. Shit. E. If you want to just play simplified B flat 4 times, E flat. You can do things like that too. Sounds cool. And then if you want to even add a 3rd chord in, I do that too sometimes. Put like a C. C again, back to B flat. E flat. C. All the same shape, and this gets you moving around, you know. That's the main thing is shut this off. Like, that's one main thing about practicing is if you put a beat on, it kind of forces you to move around, and it, you know, and it gives you context. It makes your timing good. But the main thing is you just want to get used to moving around, because once you start, you get jumping around these patterns and stuff, it makes it easier, honestly. When you start pushing yourself, you get it quicker. But you want to get it down pretty well before you put a beat on. And then start trying to push yourself a little bit. You don't want to overdo it because it will lead to bad form and bad technique, and you know. But this is also how I started writing my songs, is doing these things like this. I put it together, and then I put it into a loop. So I'm going to make a little loop, and this is how I improvise. I'll put these 2 chords in, and then go from there. It don't have to be perfect. It don't have to be anything great, you know. So I got those chords in my head and playing those shapes, and then I'll take a bass line, B flat to E flat, simple, like a. And I'll put that on my 2nd track on my loop, because I got 2 tracks. Now I got a bass line. You know, and then you can practice playing your shapes again. improvise. I'm just playing B flat major. Straight up to scale. Back down. B flat major. See, it's that simple. So it leaves it improv, put a little drive on, a little octave. I'm gonna play B flat major. Now I'm playing E flat major. Gives it a different flavor. E flat major. So that's C Dorian. The reason why the E flat works is because it's a 4 chord. I was just playing a B flat to E flat, and that E flat chord is also the 4th of the B flat scale. So it's a 1/4 progression. It's a common progression. So you can just play the 1 scale over top, the B flat. But you can also, if you know your modes, and you know you can play any of those modes out of B flat. So if you want to play your C Dorian, it's going to fit over top. Your D Phrygian is going to fit too, and so on. You can go all the way up the scale. And again, I say this all the time, map your scales out across the neck. If you want to play that B flat major, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. Reason being, you can see your modes. You got your mode here, your Dorian, your Phrygian. All you gotta know is those shapes. Lydian, Mixolydian, minor, and then Locrian. And so if you spread it out, it might seem like it's more difficult, but it makes it easier because you got all these modes under each. And if you know the shapes, I got lessons on the shapes. So you got your B flat, you got your C Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, G minor, A Locrian, and you can spread it out across the neck. So it opens up the whole neck when you do that. And any time that I'm doing practice, I do it like this, where I break it down with the chords, whatever chords I'm going to use. And then I find my scale like I done that I want to solo with, which is anything out of B flat is going to fit, like I said. So I'll map the scale out where I long ways across the neck, put it in a looper, and then I'll do an improv. So I'm going to do a little improv here. I'm going to put some quarters on, put some drive on, some octave on. I'm going to play out of B flat major. So here we go. We'll start up on the octave. B flat major. You just make music. Now I'll play the C Dorian. Fits. Now I'll play the D Phrygian. E flat Lydian. Each one has their own little flavor. F Mixolydian. I like that one. This is all F Mixolydian. Now, G minor. So you can hear how every mode works. This is the strange one, the Locrian, but it's going to fit too. Now I'm back to B flat major. And a lot of times I just start back over and I find my favorites. Which I like the F the best. Where was it at? Oh. Yeah, the F Mixolydian. Mixolydian, see. hear how different it sounds in the normal scale. That's your B flat major again. Now we'll go back to F Mixolydian. You can hear the difference. It's wicked. Same scale though. That's your G minor. So, anyways, I just wanted to give a few tips on practicing, and that's generally my normal routine and how I do things. Like I said, I'll pick a chord, 1 to 2 chords, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, and I'll learn the shapes first of each one individual. Then I start combining them, and then kind of just come up with a bass line and a little beat I want to play to, and just jam on it. And it's excellent practice. I have to scale out that you're going to jam in across the neck, and you just run it like I was doing. And then after you run through it all, you're going to hear your favorite modes that you liked, and then I'll go back through after I improvise, and I'll pick out my favorites, and then I'll try to start coming up with a melody and turn it into a song. Eventually, like, I just literally just made that up, and I already love it. And I'll save it, and I'll probably play it on my live stream tonight. And that's generally how I get all my songs. Like all my songs start off like this, and I'll play them on live stream, and it might be a month before I actually find the melodies that I like. Like I'll still be playing the modes like I just done, and sometimes I'll find other modes that I liked better, and I'll form a melody eventually, and it will become a song over time. But I don't really have a song in the beginning. It's just I just form them as I go online. And I just kind of jam on them, and then after a while they'll take their own shape. And I also like I love that tone that I was just playing, but I use that all the time. So a lot of times I try to find new sounds that I like too. So I'm not always overusing the effects. I love that one, but I use it so much. So I might even go through and make a specific sound for this song and try to find something new that I like. I like to do that as well. It keeps everything interesting and teaches me about combining effects and coming out with new sounds, you know. But if you haven't been on my live stream, just like and subscribe. And I'm on at least once a day. I try to get on more. I used to be more, but I've been working lately a lot. And then I got other lessons on my videos. I try to do these little practice videos every day where I kind of show what I'm doing, whatnot, talk about different things. So, if you haven't subscribed, please like and subscribe. And have a lovely day.